have too many spotty patches. Hope everybody's doing well. It is officially Tuesday morning. Hope you guys are doing well out there. And I don't know. I don't know. I just had to come on. There's so many things I could go on about, and I will probably do it on a live stream. If not, if not tomorrow, then maybe Wednesday. Tomorrow or Wednesday, but I'm due for definitely due for a live stream. There's so many things that are happening right now. I haven't even touched the Balenciaga liners or the imagery on that. I haven't even talked about it. Hi, TDG. Um, but what I want to talk about is I'm thinking that dare I say, I titled this the campus zooting twist. Okay, we've all been accustomed to, of course, we're accustomed to the narratives in the past on the campus shootings, but now this has been one of my greatest concerns. Is that, and I'm not the color picker, but they were going to eventually start using blacks to disarm disarm the people. And I think, to me, that this rash of these campus shootings, I think that the HBCU has been a target already. The HBCUs were targeted 2 years ago when they started with Xavier University and one other university for the mocktails. Now, if they're not jabbing up zooting, now the zooting attack, the zooting target begins. Okay, so not too long ago, less than 2 weeks ago, you had a West Virginia University situation with the zootings in which three students that happened to be black were shot. Okay. Then you go on, you've had FAMU. Now you've got FAMU, Florida A&M University, with an on-campus zooting. Okay, so to me, the Disarm America part is just another, NWO or LWO, whatever you want to call it, order that they are going. The disarmament has always been an agenda. Even I showed you guys a while back on this channel that even JFK met with members of the UN armistice. The UN armistice treaty was something that was signed, that was in the works way back in the day. And President O, the 15th letter of the alphabet, Bama, he was supposed to fulfill that actual disarmament, complete the piece of the UN disarmament treaty. Okay, but now, as soon as these narratives, as soon as they can use black people for as a tool of either emotion or influence, they get ready. That's what they're getting they're doing right now. This is going to be a part. They know who to pull at, whose heartstrings. They know what type of pathos to use, and they know the most emotional group to target. They know what the weaknesses are. Is the black community going to fall for it? I can't say. I'm not at will to say what the majority. I can't speak for the majority. I don't believe a majority of people can be represented or led by anyone. I don't. But I will say, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say I can't. I'm not going to say that they won't. But I do believe that this is a part of the deception here, the delusion. So I think that these campus zootings are going to go from the regular campus. They're going to go from the public schools to either these HBCUs, or because I've been talking about this too in the past, that the HBCUs are getting a lot of exposure right now So why not? In the face of the NIL deals and the HBCUs and you got Coach Prime and leveling of the playing field, this is the perfect environment. This is the perfect environment to rage. This is the perfect environment for a victimhood on one regard in the midst of triumph. And I don't know whether they're going to try to make this an issue of race or not. But what I will say, the ultimate goal through racism and through the discrimination and through all of that talk, they figure they can be successful with the disarmament of the people. Or they can convince people the buybacks. But like I said, there's no black market buyback, right? There's no black market buyback. So you're not going to get any boomsticks off the streets in certain spaces because you're just not. People that are not law abiding are not going to turn in anything. Not for a $50 gas card, not for a $200 gas card. That's not going to happen. Okay, it's not. It's not going to happen. But what I will say is, I do believe that these zootings are they're going to use their most influential group of people or their pawns to disarm the people. And here again, you're going to be on the wrong side of the history if you fall for any of it. Because I think, what was that FAMU shooting? There I go, I said it. The FAMU shooting actually, I think, happened on a basketball court, which I think it was a young child that was actually injured, I do believe. You can check me on that. But what I'm saying is, my thing is, when I see the word zooting and I see that this is like the HBCU has become their playground. It's the playground for the mocktail. It's the playground for the Xavier rollout of mocktails. Yeah, it was the playground for the mocktails down in Louisiana, two Louisiana schools where they used the HBCUs to roll out the mocktails. So here it is. And I'm not saying that these things are correlated. I'm just saying, consider this. Just before, now that I'm thinking about this out loud, first you had Xavier and another university in Louisiana roll out. They were the testing ground for mocktails. Okay. Then you got Coach Prime going into these HBCUs, and he did his own little run with Walmart and all that. See, to me, that's another. I really suspect that he's part of it. He could be compromised himself. Okay, so he had his own little promo. With even inviting Walmart for mocktails down at Jackson State. Okay, now you've got these campus zootings. Not saying that West Virginia is an actual HBCU. It's not. But the point is the shooting, the targets, the shootings, the vulnerabilities, the psychological effects of these kinds of attacks. They drain people. Those three shootings, the three zootings that occurred at West Virginia University, there were three students, three football players. You got, sports. You combine sports with zootings. You combine, you have mocktails, zootings, HBCUs, these black athletes. You put these combinations together. They are really, to me, there is a very specific target here. I don't think these things, like I said, with the amount of exposure or what they say occasionally, oh, well, Coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime is leveling the playing field. And, oh, he's leveling the playing field. And all of a sudden now you got I'm saying I anticipate that there will be more. I'm saying all this. I anticipate there will be more HBCU shootings, and they are going to use the liberals, the progressives. They are going to use this as a way, as a method to disarm the people, because for some reason, the black community has been used to has they use the influence of the black community, or even even elements of black culture, to sway the world. Look at it. I mean, you can deny it all you want, but if you just go back to the Floyd situation, they invigorated they started an entire movement, a worldwide. They were able to invoke, they were able to leverage emotion and all kinds of things, and all kinds of ramifications. You can't even, we don't even know. They have no idea the amount of things that have come out since the Floyd situation. Do you think I don't believe that they'll use these zootings to do it? You don't think they'll use these mass zootings, the HBCUs, the leveling of the playing field, to say that they're going to disarm the people? You don't think? And that all you now say you do? Well, you're gonna get the NAACPs and all these, these radical, these groups with the liberals, the liberals, liberal led, liberal sponsored, with a black face on the front. They'll put a black face on anything to manipulate and influence the world. They did it with the Floyd situation. They're going to do it. That's my assertion, that they're going to use these zootings to basically say, this is, and who knows? They might even say it's a color issue. It's more racism. You got to fight the racism. You got to have a boogeyman. The boogeyman will be the means to the end of the 2A. The boogeyman on camp, the boogeyman with the boomstick, will be used to disarm the people. I think it's a strong, they know the power, and they know that they can use the black community to do it. They've done it. They've been successful. Okay. The black community will allow a majority, quite a few will go along with it. You can't convince me that they won't. Look at what's going on right now. These people still believe that Air Biden is some kind of a savior. They still believe the ouchies and the ACDC's institutions. So I'm not convinced that they will not use their permanent third class citizens to bring in the disarm people. I'm not convinced that they won't. I'm thinking it's pretty good. I'm telling you, the climate is pretty good. Look at what you got surrounding it right now. But I'm going to tell you, but I think they're still going to have challenges. No, I'm not saying it's not going to be a challenge. And I'm not even saying that everyone will comply. But I'm telling you, you've got a lot. They'll bring the, Pitbull Pelosi out and say, oh, it's for the children. We got to save these children. We got to save these little darky children. We got to save these darky campuses. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We can quibble over words, but we got to look at influence. You got to look at what they've been successful with so far. The fear campaigns are winning. You got one with the mocktails, that's coming back. All of it's coming back. And if you can do it with these zootings, and am I going to say that this world, do I think we're living in wicked times? Yes, I do. But at the same time, those same people, the people that have the most power to control the narrative, you've heard people on the MSNBCs, the Mikas, and all these people talk about that their job is to control what people think. So they're going to control. They're going to control the narrative. They're going to control what you see, and they're going to control what the sheep are allowed to see. So I'm just saying that they're going to try to use these most recent. They're going to try to use these most recent incidents. Like I said, it might not. It's not going to be one. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be one isolated, one, two isolated. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm just saying, just look at the pattern here. And I'm not saying you don't have to be pro football. You don't even have to watch football. But I see the pattern here. I see the pattern here. And as a matter of fact, when the WVU zootings happened, it came up. It came up right away. Oh, this is only happening. They tried to say, but the argument is very weak. It's not even what they contribute, what people contribute. A lot of times, is not even really an argument. Okay. But what I am saying is, to me, I see the perfect conditions for, I mean, that's been a part. Like I said, this is not a new, something that's brewing, or that's a new brew. It's not. It's not a new brew. It's an old brew. And I have not been to, what is it, this location? I've never been to the I've never been to the UN, to their offices. I think there's one. Is there one in New York that has the actual, whichever one, whichever office that has the boomstick that's basically tied off by a rope? Is that the New York office, the UN office, which they have the I think they claim, I don't know, the story goes, if anybody correct me, the story goes, what was it, John Lennon, that somebody put that say somebody, some designer sculpted or created that boomstick with the rope or tied off to it or something, that they've got like an actual boomstick that's tied off in front of one of the UN offices. To me, that's been their goal, and it was long before a John Lennon. Okay, I'm not, the pop culture tag doesn't do much for me. Okay, you gotta look beyond that. Even before that, look up the UN Armistice Treaty. Like, they totally, a lot of these people that have served or whatnot, these presidents' appeals, to me, they have a holiday. They're overrated, and they're not really. It's overrated, but it's also, they don't. All the agendas are not. They're not made. Of course, they're not going to make it public. But to me, thanks to the folks over at the TNA, that they've done quite a bit of research, and that they've had boots on the ground quite a bit between the UN, and I would imagine it would be good if they get some people over at the We Forum, because that's where a lot of this stuff is kicked off. So I'm just saying, listen, I'm telling you, there's something brewing right now, a new brew, a new brew. And they're, like I said, they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. Let me say hi to everybody that's in the stream. I really appreciate you guys so much for coming in. Belinda says evening. All right. Mark, hi, Mark. Oh, Mark said the last Walmart. Okay. Well, I need to look into that one, Mark. I need to look into that one. Uh, Mark says the State Department document 7277. Good morning, AZ. And then Melinda says these shooting incidents are increasing the closer we get to. Yep. Lots of distractions. Yeah, what was it? The Walmart shooting, was there the number six? Well, there's six people involved in that. Six people. I'm not sure where what seems like I heard maybe that was an employee or something. I don't know. I don't know what the demographics are, but I'm sorry to say, but you got to put all the elements together. If the color comes with it, then so be it. Okay? There's only certain people that can talk about, what they want. Your controlled opposition, you can expose things. You can put enough. You can get close to the truth. But let's see. AZ says I look at it as insanity level seems to have risen since. Yeah, well, right. AZ, I second that. I see a lot of that, but they're revving that back up. Well, this is a great example of the disarmament countries: the UK, New Zealand, and Australia. These things are telling America. Well, they're telling America, but to me, as long as Americans as long as we keep going with these, with the system that we're dealing with is failing miserably. Okay, it's failing miserably, and so I think basically what 2024. I think the campaigning has already started for 2024. That's what I think. Let's see. Let's see. Melinda says it's going to become a cult issue. There's something wrong with people who's. It's just going to be a mental health issue, just like. Yeah, well, like, all this stuff is back up again. They're going to try to do everything under the auspices of safety and under the auspices of safety and security. And I'm telling you, like, and of course they've got to help their little disabled brother, the black folks. I'm telling you, but like I said, I'm saying this because I do follow some of these. I do follow a lot of things. I follow things that I have experience with, or follow things that are relative. But like I said, I can kind of see there's a pattern. They're carving out a pattern, and maybe they're not sure which one's going to work, but they're going to try as many as they can. Okay, like I said, I'm saying the biggest buzz right now is the HBCU exposure in terms of athletes in the NFL, and um, you've got now you add that to campus zootings, and which I'm going to say this about HBCUs: the HBCUs do not have good policies in place. They do not. They do not have their policies are not. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if some of these campuses didn't go down to, what do they call them in these liberal cities? The zoot free zones, a boomstick free zone. They're gonna try it. Ah, oh, thanks for the update, Az. Um, but that's not gonna happen. It's not on paper. Okay. So, I mean, because I'm thinking about one particular HBCU in which the community already knows how to infiltrate these universities because what they have in place is already not effective. There's already no real respect for what little they do have. So it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy. And I think on top of that, there's so much crime, so much black people have been desensitized to death. They're desensitized. So what do they care if they bring it on? If they bring more attention, or if more things start, these shootings start happening on the campuses. But that's just going to be what they're going to rev up the support to try to disarm people is what my concern is. The support is what's going to rev up. I'm telling you, these are the same people that quote voted, but they're choosing between heating and eating right now. Just look at it. If you can convince people to do what they've done via mocktails and all kinds of persuasion and propaganda tactics, you don't think that these same people can throw their support behind the disarmament on some level to make it much more difficult for the HG boomsticks. That's what I'm saying. So we've already had like two or three. But so I imagine, I'm not sure, they haven't said it, but you better believe there's an agenda for boomsticks by 2030. There are. And if it takes them getting the whole world to rally around and make enough noise, which when the more I think back about the GF and all the chanting and all the stuff that was going on there, that situation is really quite wicked. It's quite dark. So yeah, like I don't know black magic, but I'm beginning to believe in it. Let's just put it that I'm beginning to, when I say believe in it, I'm the awareness. I am aware. I'm not under any disillusions, but I am aware that just as there is good out there, there is evil out there. That's my bottom line. Okay, but you just think about it. If they want to bring that kind of attention back to America, if they want to bring it worldwide, they know what to do. Okay? They know what to do. Because we are still a nation that is still a unique, that is the one thing that separates us from many other nations. But don't you know that they will come up with something to contribute to it. They will come up with a way to influence and to garner support behind it. And they don't care who they use. And they don't care if people vote against their own interest. To achieve their goal, they will do whatever they have to do. As a matter of fact, one of the interviews that I saw, what was it, Coach Prime from Jackson State on Deion Sanders on 60 Minutes, they briefly mentioned the George Floyd incident. On 60 Minutes. They said, oh, well, he decided he was going to do this after the George Floyd incident. I'm just thinking, okay, so I'm telling you, I question every single movement when it comes to civil rights, and I question all of it just based on what they do with that. And I'm just saying, don't think it can't happen again, that they can start another BLM, that they can't, you don't think it won't happen again, because that had global impact. Not just here in this, not just the visuals and the optics and all the things that happen here in the state. That brought global attention, whether it was under whatever pretense you want to claim it, you want to put on it. That brought global attention to this country. What would it be? That's the perfect thing to bring to the perfect next thing to bring would be the 2A, crippling the 2A. Like, I mean, I'm talking about taking a wrecking ball kind of agenda, and they will use the black community to do it again. I'm convinced that they will. Unfortunately, it became the color out of everything. They made it about color, not me. But they will use their supporters. They will use the people that can be influenced or the sheeple to achieve it. So yes, I'm just saying. I mean, there was all kinds of, I just think there's like bewitchery ever since 2020. I think there's been like mass bewitchery or something going on. It kind of leads me to what I was talking about earlier this morning. I mean, this is not directly related, but I'm just saying there's such a fine line between what tools can be used for good and evil. There's a fine line, between like tonalities and music. The same tonality that they use for Halloween bewitchery is the same kind of bewitchery tonality that they use for Christmas. Okay, they use bells, bells, pixie dust, all of it. It's a fine line. You can pivot back and forth between them because the line is so fine. You might call it, it's the shades. The shading can be manipulated. And so that's what I'm saying right now. And you can be manipulated. And all I have to do, oh, well, we need to be safe. We're not safe no matter what we do. I heard somebody say that on YouTube. But like within the last like 72 hours or something. I heard that. But people are willing to put their safety prayers on the altar of the politicians. But then, they don't realize they could be cutting their nose off despite their faces at the same time. I don't know if it's yeah, that's what I'm on about. So I'm just saying, I don't like, in some states you have registries and whatnot, in some states you don't. But I find it like, I don't know what the laws are in West Virginia. Um, I'm not even sure what the laws are in Florida. But when you go on to a campus, you kind of go, you're in the liberal playground. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? The liberal playground, they can do whatever they want. The liberal playground, their baseline is liberal. The college campuses are basically run by liberals. Most of our institutions, education institutions, are quite liberal. That's a reality, and it has spread. I heard somebody say, "Oh, that's white people talk. That's white people talk. White people talk." Now, This came out of the mouth of another white person. Okay, I'm just saying. Anything that goes against the liberal whatever, you can count on another liberal to try to. Yeah, the ad hominem attacks will come. The attacks will come. I'm telling you now. I'm just saying. When I hear stuff like that, Az, yeah, Az. We'll put. Well, I wish we could go into that. I said, let's put that in a holding pattern. Let's put that in a holding pattern. But yeah, I'm just saying I'm really kind of stunned, dude. I've heard all kinds of things in the last 24, 48 hours. Like I heard somebody say in a public space, well, do I need my do I need my face flag? She said, do I need my face flag? I don't want to make anybody else uncomfortable because I've had all my mocktails. And okay, so what are you talking about, lady? It's just like these people are paranoid. I don't know. All of a sudden, the concern or the amount of anxiety that people have come up with since 2020, it's just kind of amazing. Like, okay, what do you, if you've done, she just contradicted herself. Okay, you said you don't, you said that a face flag represents, you said you basically are trying to establish that a mask is providing some type of psychological comfort for somebody else. But then at the same time, you're not really that comfortable with the choice that you made, that you just said, oh well, do I need a face flag? Because I don't want to make anybody else uncomfortable. But I've had all my cocktails and things. But do you see how that's double speak? How is what you're doing on the visual, if you're quote protected internally, if you've protected yourself, does that protect others? It's just, I just don't know what the logic, are we dealing with logic anymore? It's like logic is completely out of the window. It's like people, like they're not even making any kind of attempting to make any kind of complex inferences anymore. They totally contradict themselves, and it's like that whole conversation is back, and it's really annoying. It's annoying, and it was boring. It's a boring conversation, but the way, it's almost like it's always this whole CV-19 wound is always going to have, they're always going to be able to pull that scab back. It's just as bad as the boogeyman, the boogeyman 19 is always going to be there. Okay, you got, because it's not enough to have the face flag, or it's not enough to have you've mocktailed yourself ad infinitum, but you're always going to be able to pull that scab back. You're always going to be able to dig that to make that wound fresh. I mean, think about it. It's the perfect psychological. It's perfect because for those people that are there, they're never going to be at ease. So I couldn't believe I heard that kind of, the lady said it, that she made that statement as fresh as a daisy, and all of a sudden it kind of threw me back. It threw me back to 2020. So you can see that the narrative is back again. The fear is you're never going to, that's a virus that'll never, there's no cure for that. There's no cure for it. And with that kind of public, when people put themselves out, start opening their mouths talking about it. Because what you guys saw, Fauci, he's back. Okay. If he's doing his final lap around the proverbial field or whatever about his career or whatever, what did he achieve? Is he offering concrete? I mean, his narrative is worse than it was before. It's double talk, double speak. So just look at it, guys. Like, look at what's going on in China. Also, I think India is getting ready to roll out. They're testing. They're testing the digital currency right now. So I'm saying, like, it's coming, folks. Okay, and I will tell you something else. You like my twang? Oh, I speak a little twang. I do. I can speak it. Um, but yeah, but I'm even hearing that that 2024 is not even going to have, it's not even going to have a voting system. Okay, that's the other part that I'm hearing, because I think I mean, what do you guys think? I'm hearing that Pelosi, like, because I said this morning and I noticed it, like, it just seems like Pelosi, or she wasn't out speaking to people in the Bay Area, or she wasn't out in California fanning the whatever. She wasn't doing that. But she also said that they're dealing with a different DC. DC is different. They've got, so I'm just thinking I think they've got 2024 is already on lock, folks. I say this all the time. I don't think the DMs are coming out of office. I really don't. I really don't. I don't think that they are going to. I'm even hearing some people say they don't even think there's even going to be a 2024. Just look at it now, like, because I'm telling you, like, and I'm just combining a whole lot of things. Like, we're reliving parts of history, whether it's American history or not. A lot of people, what they call it, the cognitive bias. They say, oh, well, that happened over there. Oh, that happened here. Like, how long before they get rid of the press? Because, like, when I see examples of that, what is her name? What is it? What's her name? Karine Jean Pierre. Is that her name? She basically is yelling at these reporters, talking about how they're being rude, but she's standing up there talking to them as if she was really quite combative herself and disrespecting them. If that's her job, to ask questions, right? Just because you don't want to hear the answer, you're going to fight. Like, they couldn't get a word in because she was going to yell over them. She's going to yell the deflection louder than the questions that they want to answer. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about you being disrespectful to, quote, the press, whatever's left of that. I think they had an interview. I saw an interview in which this girl's admitting, since she asked a question about the origins of the CV-19, that she's been, like, basically blackballed. So I don't know. As long as these people believe in the conjuring magic of the Dems and the corruption, they're not going anywhere. It's done. So I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Let's see. AZ says, I think they're going to do it again. AZ, are you talking about an LD? Are you talking about LDs? I mean, I'm telling you something else. This Anarchy says the only achievement felt he did is he made a boatload of money. Okay, AZ says the difference this time for me is I keep a 20,000 foot view. I just get headlines of all this is going on. Meanwhile, I'm busy getting things. Yeah, excellent. There you go, AZ. And yeah, so I'm just thinking, what? Oh, I read it. There was a liner about there's a new CV czar, a new CV, a mocktail czar. Folks, is coming back. I had a lot of people. What? They can't do that. They can't. Okay, look. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just putting it out there. Just put it. Just bringing an awareness. Melinda says these people pushing for war have never been handed a folded flag. So yeah, but I appreciate you guys. Like, I tried to do a stream this morning, which, okay, of course, censorships are up and all this kind of a bit. I believe it, but I was also talking about, like, just the energy of everyone, like, just the surroundings. Our surroundings are a little bit crazy. I see. AZ says yes, another demic, along with a bunch of other things such as yep, it's perfect storm, right? So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. I'm gonna get out of here, but I'm just saying I started this stream out with the idea with just some of the things that I see that they're happening right now, and this is kind of in the Black community, but I'm saying they're going to but they know that there's an a heavy influence that they can get masses of people to do things, or they can influence mass amounts of people, with their pathos, with their bandwagon tactics, the plain folks Biden talk. I mean, you talk about all kinds of propaganda and persuasion coming at you. Yeah, just I said one night we're gonna have we're gonna have a propaganda. We're gonna have a trivia night. How about it? Propaganda trivia night. Propaganda and persuasion. Who knows? We'll teach each other something. I got some props and everything. We'll do that. How about we'll go with that? Sometimes you get 2 or 3 tactics used inside of one ad or one thing. So I figure we'll go with some of that. We'll have propaganda persuasion night, and I don't know. Give us your best. Hey, maybe you could send us some. You're welcome to tag in. Like said, once we had a propaganda survival kit, but we're going to the baseline stuff is what we're going to do. We're going to do. I'm going to give you the terms, and I'm going to give you some ads. So we're going to name that propaganda piece. Okay? Like, what type of propaganda is being used? So you got to pick up the pendulum to answer. I actually think that'll be quite fun. Pick up the pendulum to identify tonight's. We're gonna have some propaganda persuasion inspired live streams, and we're gonna feature at least one piece. And you pick up the pendulum if you want to call in. If you want to send me one, let's do that. So yeah, we'll do our own survival kit on that, because a lot of times we're looking at these things and we just don't know, like logical fallacies and stuff. Like a lot of times we do these things to each other and we don't even know it because it's so ingrained. It's so ingrained in our everyday whatever. And it's being used against us so much, we start using it against each other. We got some meta propaganda, meta persuasion. So I like that idea. Let's do that. Let's see. Okay, so I want to thank everybody so much for coming in and allowing me to get this out. Anarchy says, Anarchy Television says, they'll use TV, sports, stars to manipulate the black public. Right, of course. And then he also says we can use propaganda for freedom, make her immunity of freedom in the people's minds, have that group think of freedom. Yeah, I think we're going to have a good time. We can maybe do a quiz or something at the end. We'll feature two pieces of propaganda. It'll feature some propaganda techniques and tactics. We'll start out with the concepts or with the terms. We'll end up with a summary is what I want to do by the end of it. That's what we're going to do. Heck, let's do a freaking graphic organizer. Oh my gosh. We could use a graphic organizer. Let's do that. That'll be interesting for sure. But I appreciate you guys so much for coming. So keep your eyes open, I guess. And I like Melinda's the motto: prep, pray, and stay out of the way, because all these little distractions. But I would say, watch where you're going. Like, yeah, just stay vigilant, I guess, is what you could do. Um, but I appreciate you guys so much for coming on. So let's just give a shout to everyone. AZ, let's see, Melinda, AZ Infidel. Thank you guys so much for coming. Anarchy Television. Um, Melinda says, I will not consent. I will not comply. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Yeah. Anarchy says, I got my trapper keeper ready. Good. Good deal. Good deal. I like it. I like it. I like it. TDG. Who's TDG? All right, TDG, make yourself known. Mark, thank you so much, Mark. AZ Infidel. Uh, let's see. But yeah, I think the zootings are going to continue. I think, but I'm saying I think the HBCU will be featured, will be the feature zooting, the feature trend of zoot, because there's the HBCU is getting attention already because on an athletic stage, okay, they're bringing it. But like I said, the HBCU has been the black nurse is another propaganda or persuasion tool. The mocktails, they associated that with the mocktail. They combined a black face with the mocktail. Okay, for New York, you guys remember the New York nurse? Okay, but there was also a black nurse associated with the Tuskegee experiment. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Um, is more of a to me that's more of an ethos kind of thing. They want to, oh well, a black nurse recommends it. It must be good for us, right? And then you put the black face on it. So I'm telling you. So you kind of got that whole tactic there. You got the tactic there. You got the ethics, the credibility. When you combine that there, so I'm just saying. Well, I'd love to get into some of this kind of propaganda stuff. Whole propaganda persuasion show, and we could go back into 2020. Same thing with I got the mocktail, you got the mocktail, we got the mocktail. I put you guys through the whole series of that. That's the same thing, same kind of propaganda persuasion. Um, yeah, like we can go into details on the specifics on those, but they use these celebrities, these old washed up rappers, old washed up celebrity types. Um, yeah, and that was out of New York. That was the campaign that they ran, but they featured it for five series, a series of five. In fact, I'll take a look. I'll keep an eye on New York to see what they're doing. What's part two of it gonna look like? Okay, are they gonna bring it back from their own health departments or their own initiatives in New York? But yeah, so they know um, the very specific tactic that they use. And I don't want to get into the specifics on this, but I know it'll be a fun. I think it'll be informative but entertaining at the same time. Also, there is a program, Pluto TV. Pluto TV. They use all kinds of there's speech. The English language is absolutely corrupted, and along with these people, Any language can be corrupt, but they say English is one of the most corrupt. But Pluto TV has a lot of propaganda too. So I figure, I've got some other scenes and everything. I got some other there's a program coming out on I'm not sure when it debuts, but if you look at when I look at the marketing and the graphics on that, there's absolutely a war, I think, on not a war, but there's a they are weaponizing you can see the symbolism in there. You can see the symbolism in there. And they've got it, yeah, I'll show it to you. He said they must be keeping your eye on you. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I will check in with you guys later, but yeah, let's get back together. We're gonna talk propaganda and persuasion tactics, and then we'll show some. We'll go take a trip back down 2020. We can start with 2020, big time. Anything from election propaganda to election propaganda, mocktail propaganda, you name it. And yeah, pick up the pendulum if you wanna stab at tonight's propaganda piece. You pick it up. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. I feel like it's gonna be a challenge, but we'll get through it. But the next live stream is gonna be kind of loaded, so let's go for that. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you later if possible. I don't know. Maybe we could do it. I could do like a line. I could do lines tonight, but definitely that propaganda is going to be a special because I'm going to focus. I'm going back in time. Okay.